Okay, here, this is Lord Potato, and this is what if Ichigo had the Yamato? Part 1 of this what if, okay? I know a lot of fucking people are complaining. Stop doing the goddamn collab, what ifs, whatever bullshit, fuck off, okay? Other than that, fuck you. I don't care. They might be still continue on. Mostly, probably. I sometimes don't feel like it, but not the point. Also, the person who keeps asking me to do stuff in my community more often, motherfucker, I have over 1,000 videos. Can you fuck off? Like, my man, get off my dick already. Goddamn. Like, shut the fuck up, toxic. If you want to be toxic, I'll show you toxic, you son of a bitch. Yes, I can be very toxic when I want to, and I don't care. Now, if Toxic wanna be in my Discord server in a call with me, don't worry, I'm about to fucking go full on German dictator out here, and I will fucking make sure you cry. Not the point. But yeah, pretty much. I came here with this what if idea. I don't know. Mostly the AI helped me a bit to kind of create mostly the Zanpakuto, the fusion with the Yamato. And yeah, if you don't know what the Yamato is, I'm just going to explain real fucking fast. No, I'm not talking about the One Piece Yamato or whatever else anime Yamato. I'm talking about literally the blade. The blade from Devil May Cry 5. Well, I mean, the 1-5. You get the point. The whole lore of fucking Devil May Cry. Yamato is a blade that was created by Sparta himself. Well, he kind of split his powers into 3 blades. Sparta, well, yeah, a Spartan sword. Literally, one was called Spartan, but literally his name. The other one was called what was the other one? Fuck, I can't remember. Dante's sword. I can't remember right now. And also the last one was the Yamato. The Yamato looks like a katana version. It kind of looks like a basic kind of katana, but entirely the sword can cut through space and also through any sword, even though it was blocked by literally a rocket launcher. But we do not talk about it because the Lord literally said that the blade can cut through fucking anything. It even blades himself, but it gets blocked by a fucking cannon. I have no fucking clue why, but yeah. Don't ask me why. Don't fucking question it, and I don't care. But in this one, it will be able to cut through even Zanpakutos. If you hate the fucking idea of the sword being able to cut through anything, then shut the fuck up, because this is my what if. Either you fucking shut the fuck up or I'll fucking drop kick you. Not the point. Yeah, I'm not trying to deal with people's bullshits in their comments or whatever bullcrap. If you want to fucking me record more often, fuck you. I'm not recording more often. Actually, I might, but you don't need to know about that. Whatever. But not the point. I might bring the Naruto whatever. Blah, blah, blah. But of course, we go back into what I was talking about. So yeah, the Yamato is going to be able to cut through the Zanpakutos. Basically anything in Bleach, okay? Whatever. It can literally just going to be able to cut through anything. Because that's what the Yamato does. Just cuts through space and mostly anything, whatever. No, it's not going to be able to nullify techniques. And yeah, pretty much it's not the inverted spear of heaven. So, yeah, I might just thinking of adding that into a what if next. Maybe. I'll be interested to have fucking the man who left it all behind and guess. Nah, just kidding. Let me just shut up and actually go back into this one. So yeah, pretty much that's what's going to happen. And other than that, let me begin to this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. Haha. Now, we begin into mostly mostly a very young boy with orange hair. He is right now at a funeral with mostly his kind of dead mother. Yes, his mother died during an incident that happened that he blamed himself more often. This is where, well, he is kind of saddened for the fact that his mother, his like most amazing mother, died right in front of him. He didn't even know how, and he just couldn't really do anything. All that he remembers was a little girl being there, and yeah, you get the point. But pretty much it was Grand Fisher that actually kill his mother, but not the point. But pretty much he was crying for the fact that his mother died, and of course, well, he really did blame himself. He was so depressed at a young age. He was so depressed. But this is where, well, mostly his father managed to drag him out of the house. His father's name is Ishiden. Yeah, Ishi. I'm fucking up his name. Is it? No, am I? Ishiden. Ishiden coulda. Well, yeah. Coulda. Why am I fucking up fucking Ichigo's last name? Fuck sakes. Ichigo Kurosaki. Ishiden Kurosaki. Why does that? Oh my gosh. Whatever. But this is where, well, yeah, his father is dragging him out with his, like, mostly siblings, his, like, younger sisters. But pretty much, he managed to get Ichigo out. And, of course, mostly Ichigo didn't want to. He refused to go back outside. He was too afraid and other things. But his father said, nah. You are needing to go out there into the sun. You need to believe in yourself, kid. Believe. This is where his father stands, like, on a hill right now, kind of pointing to the sky, and sunshine being bright behind him. But yeah, this is where, well, Ichigo was depressed and didn't really want to talk to his father. This is where his father grabbed Ichigo and threw him into, well, mostly a pond. Yeah, he basically threw him like this. Pretty much this is what happened.
You can't what?
I can't swim.
How old are you?
6.
Yeet! So yeah.
Help him!
So yeah, that's what basically Ishiden kind of just did to Ichigo. Just threw his ass into the water and said, "Swim, boy!" This is where Ichigo is tossed in. This is where Ichigo is right now, just trying to learn how to swim out of instinct, thanks to his father being a prick at this point. Threw his ass into the water. Now, it might sound crazy, but that's what his kind of father in the anime kind of does. I mean, he does beat the shit of him every time that Ichigo doesn't pay attention or gets distracted. You get the point. This is where, well, mostly his father is kind of saying, this is how I will teach my son. This is where Karin is right now sweat dropping, while Uzu is also sweat dropping at their father's antics. Ichigo manages to swim out of the pond after a while, and right now coughing up water. This is where he said, "Stupid dad." This is where, well, mostly he is now near somewhere. He doesn't even know where he was at. He was trying to swim out of the pond. Of course, the current managed to push him a bit, or not current. I mean, there's a bit of current, but that was just him moving around. He managed to get towards a kind of place that looks like a cave. Of course, it was a forest around, and he didn't even know where he was at. He decides to go into the cave just to dry himself off by taking off his shirt and other things. This is where, well, he knows basic instincts how to survive somewhere. This is where, well, mostly he then kind of goes inside the cave because he sees something interesting in the cave. He knows that looking at something interesting might kill him, but then again, he has really nothing to lose, so of course he walks in. It's like this bluish glow that kind of been glowing and kind of pulling him closer. Now, this is where Ichigo kind of gets close to the whatever glow that is. It's of like a bluish glow that keeps like pulling him closer. This is where, well, Ichigo says, "What is this?" This is where when he gets close to it, it looks to be like a sword. A sword that seems to be kind of like stabbing to the ground. And this is where, well, there's like no writings or wordings or whatever anywhere. But this is where, well, the sword seems to be in a sheath. Well, yeah, in a sheath somewhat. And of course, it's stabbed to the ground. This is where, well, Ichigo touches it and nothing really happens to him. Really nothing happens until mostly he hears his like father screaming out. He's saying, "Ichigo! Ichigo, where are you? Damn, I didn't kill the brat. Shit. Oh shit, my wife is going to kill me." Well, she was still here. This is where he says, "Ichigo, come out. This is not fun. This is not funny. Come out. This is where, well, mostly his sisters and other things are screaming. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo really kind of like didn't know if he should take the sword or shouldn't, but decides to take it just in case he ever needs it to protect himself. So when he kind of lifted it up, he didn't even know how he even managed to lift it up when the sword is a little bit bigger than him, but he managed to pick it up, even though in some cases, if you're not a part of the Spartan bloodline, you will not be able to pick up the sword. But Ichigo somehow managed to do it. He doesn't even, well, he doesn't really know about the Spartan bloodline, and he's not really a descendant of it. But this is where Ichigo still was able to pick it up. This is where, well, the reason why I was able to pick it up even though he did not know this at this time, was because of the sword sending a bit of its energy towards Ichigo to actually accept it. This is where Ichigo did not know that he accepted this blade, or the blade even accepted him, but the blade wanted to leave out of this goddamn cave. It was left there behind by his previous owner, and his previous owner died after such a long time. And I'm not talking about Virgil or Nero. Someone else, don't worry about it. This is where, well, there was no more Spartan bloodline users, so of course the Yamato wanted to fucking go and leave and get out of this cave. He wanted to explore the new century. This is where, well, the blade itself is now merging with Ichigo slowly, but surely, don't worry about it. This is where, well, we'll see Ichigo does not know that this blade is merging with him slowly but surely, but this is where, well, Ichigo just walks away. This is where, well, he managed to kind of find his father and his sisters and other things. His dad noticed the blade, but he cannot sense the energy. The energy is completely different. Mostly the sword itself might be kind of sentient, but Ichigo's father cannot sense it. I mean, then again, he did regain his power somewhere around, mostly after the balance arc, but don't worry about that. But of course, is where, well, if you have never seen the balance arc and you're probably one of those people that actually skipped it, I'm the one, probably the only one that actually watched the balance arc. Yes, I'm actually going to do the balance arc in this what if you fucking hate the balance arc and you do not know anything about the balance arc, fuck you, I don't care. Because, yeah, it took me about a couple of months to watch it. I actually got inspired to watch it was because of the fact that we were doing that what if yesterday. But other than that, let me get back into this what if. Sorry about rambling. But this is where, well, Ichigo kind of sees his father. His father says, "Where did you get that sword?" This is where Ichigo says, "I found it." His father says, "How about I take it for safekeeping so you don't accidentally cut yourself?" This is where, well, mostly Ichigo nodded. His father takes it, but almost felt like he was about to just like he barely touched the sword, and the sword was really, really not wanting to be touched by Ichigo's father at all. No. This is where, well, when Mosi, his father, was about to touch it, he felt like if he touches it, he's either getting cut or the sword is going to completely refuse him entirely. This is where, well, Mosi, Ichigo was called by Uzui and even Karin to come on, let's go to the house already. This is where Ichigo didn't really give the sword to his father, but decided to run off towards mostly Karin and Uzui, just to make sure that they're okay, and acting like an older brother somewhat, even though he's still depressed. This is where, well, right now, what's it called? Ishin was about to like grab the sword until mostly Ichigo ran off to his siblings. This is where, well, mostly Ishin, for some reason, luckily he didn't grab it, but he did feel like there was a huge invisible cut near his like hand. He didn't even know how, but it felt like it almost just like cut through his body. Like he felt like his body, if he would have touched the sword, he felt like he would have been cut to a million pieces. But this is where, well, mostly Ichigo ran off to his siblings and got back to the house. Now, over the past kind of 2 weeks, mostly Ichigo has actually went outside more often than normal. For some reason, he felt more confident. He felt more determined. Even though he did lose his mother, his body was changing. Kind of not drastically, but a little bit. He actually started having a bit of patchy white hair on like near his side of his like face. Well, kind of. He just had a bit of patch white hair. His eyes, even though they're like a brownish orangey color, well, let me actually see that. Even though his eyes were like a brownish kind of color, like a darkish brown color, it started becoming a kind of somewhat like a little bit brighter and changing a bit of blue. Like its irises was actually becoming blue a bit, crystallized. But Ichigo never noticed this factor and didn't really look into the mirror too much. He didn't notice the hair was becoming a white patch, but he really didn't care. So of course, mostly Ichigo has been going outside more often than normal. But when every time he goes out, he makes sure to go by himself and usually kind of walks around or whatever. But this is where one day, something was happening. Something dangerous was happening around mostly Kurakara town. This is where, well, there's explosions near some places and some places just kind of, like you can hear something in the background, like a screech. And this is where, well, mostly Ichigo didn't know what that was. he was a kind of, well, mostly he was around kind of being 11 years old. Yeah, 11ish years old. So of course he didn't know what that was. This is where, well, yes, he did leave the sword behind at home, and Ishiden did notice the sword. This is where, well, he noticed the sword in mostly Ichigo's room. He decides to try to take it and like bring it to his like room, so mostly Ichigo doesn't cut himself or whatever. But when he tries to pick up the sword flat out like straight up refuses him. This is where Ishiden tries his hardest to like pick up the damn sword, but it was so fucking heavy that he was confused how his son was able to pick this shit up. This is where, well, he was wondering if he still had a soul reaper power so he would be able to kind of understand why the sword is straight up refusing him. It feels like a Zanpakuto that if you're not the original user, the Zanpakuto is gonna refuse you sometimes. Or would that happen? I haven't actually don't know. But this is where, well, right now Ishida is thinking maybe Ichigo's awakened his soul reaper powers, but that's impossible. He lost them a while ago. This is where Ishiden doesn't know. But this is where, well, he noticed that the sword is kind of glowing a bluish color because Ichigo was right now in trouble. Go back into Ichigo's kind of POV. Ichigo saw this like little girl who was actually a ghost, and he didn't know she was a ghost. But this is where, well, he decided to help her out by kind of grabbing her hand and running away from a monster that was appearing. Ichigo could see what it is, and it was a hollow. And this is where, well, he didn't even know what the name was. But this is where, well, the thing tries to like grab the girl with his like long hands. And this is where, well, Ichigo wanted to try to protect the girl. He didn't know how to. Like, he straight up didn't know how to like protect her at all. But this is where, well, Ichigo just dodges through like mostly buildings and kind of like running past some things and trying to like hide behind a fence, well, a stone fence. And this is where, well, mostly he was wondering if that thing would like leave him alone. But this is where the creature still managed to find him, and this is where, well, it managed to hit Ichigo away because Ichigo's spiritual pressure, even though he was young, still was high, but not that high enough. Because mostly the hollow, the hollow did also get, well, mostly Ichigo and even the soul. The little girl was kind of screaming. She was like saying, "Help, no, ow." This is where, well, mostly Ichigo says, "Let go of her." This is where, well, his eyes were glowing a brightish blue, and this is where, well, mostly it wasn't his Ryasu that was reacting, but something more demonic was reacting. This is where, well, the hollow was trying to eat what the soul. This is where, well, Ichigo sees that mostly the little girl was about to die. Mostly the little girl is somewhere around the same age as him. And this is where Ichigo says, "No, you can't." This is where, well, mostly Ichigo sees mostly this hollow about to eat. Well, mostly somewhat his new friend. That's why he went more outside more often, because his soul talked to him a lot. And this is where, well, all he can just do is see her kind of, well, mostly be eaten by the hollow. Ichigo says, "No, you can't." This is where, well, Ichigo says, I. This is where, well, he says, "I need more power." This is where, well, he kind of closes his eyes, needing more power. This is where bursts of energy exploded from mostly, well, the Kurosaki house. Because mostly Ishin was hearing in the news, and he had to kind of get out of his room because he needed to go check on the news because he hasn't seen Ichigo for a while. Until this is where the sword, when he turned his back away from the sword, he felt like this kind of wind pressure smash into him. He turns around to see the sword exploded into blue light up in the air. Of course, luckily the roof wasn't destroyed, but this is where, well, it shot up in the air and disappeared in an instant. This is where, well, Ishiden says, "What the? Damn it." He kind of goes and runs outside because he doesn't even know where the sword went. But he definitely needs to call someone with a bucket hat, to talk to about this phenomenon. He doesn't even know what it is. This is where, well, the sword appears next to Ichigo because it actually kind of reacted with Ichigo's own energy. And yes, since it was merging with Ichigo for a while, just because he was in the same room, mostly Ichigo's body is a bit of demonic heritage of the Spartan bloodline. But this is where, well, mostly the sword appeared cutting mostly the arm of, what's it called, a hollow, and Ichigo holding the sword in his, like, well, mostly right hand. This is where, well, mostly in his left hand he's holding the sheath. Well, he's not holding the sheath, but mostly he's holding the sword and the sheath in his left hand. And this is where, well, Ichigo kind of like looks after the hollow when he opened his eyes. They seem to be a crystallized blue, so cold that they seem to be freezing hell all over again. This is where, well, we'll see the hollow right now screeches in pain, and right now when it looks down to see Ichigo, he thought that Ichigo Kurosaki kind of looked like a Shinigami for a second, but instead of looking like a Shinigami, he looked like something else. Something that the hollow didn't even know why it was feeling fear. It was literally feeling fear against Mosi Ichigo. Now, the little girl was also kind of cut free, and this is where, well, she kind of landed down and she was confused to see her kind of new friend just being different. This is where Ichigo kind of looks at the girl and just says, "Go now." His voice was much more calmer, but at the same time colder. This is where, well, she left, she ran away, and this is where the hollow still wanted to eat her. But this is where, well, Ichigo says, "You're not going anywhere." This is where, well, mostly he grabs the sword handle with his right hand, and right now unsheaths it so fast that he sheaths it back again. This is where, well, mostly the hollow could not react how fast this kid moved. But all he understands is the hollow himself, mostly the hollow himself, just realized that there was a slash near his giant hole, but there was like 3 different slashes, while his mask was cut into millions of pieces. This is where, well, mostly all the hollow can understand is he was killed at that point. This is where he dispels. He died. He did not go to the Soul Society. He was not free thanks to it being a Zanpakuto. No, he literally died. He got erased from existence. The sword itself does not send you to the Soul Society. You know where it sends you? Straight to hell. But yeah, kinda. But not the point. This is where, well, we'll see Ichigo falls down to the ground and breathes tiredly until he fell asleep. Because, well, we'll see that took a lot of energy from his body. He didn't even know what the hell he did. All he felt like was not his body in control. He still saw and let me say that again. He still saw and felt in what he did, but he didn't feel like he was fully in control. It felt like someone else was in control of his body. And that's why he went for the mask and the hole, even though mostly Ichigo just wanted to go for the legs or the arms, just tried to chop this thing down. But instead of him doing that, he thought of that in his mind, but his body refused to do that. It's like if he had had been controlled by something else. Ichigo didn't know, but Ichigo still was holding the sword in his left hand. This is where, well, Ichigo fell asleep. He didn't care. This is where, well, mostly we go into something kind of awakening inside of Ichigo. This is where, well, something says, huh? What the? Where am I? Huh? This is where Ichigo looks all around confusedly. Why is this place dark? It's all black. But still, I can see a bit of blue all around. What's happening? Where am I? This is where, well, he hears a deep growl, but at the same time, it spoke, but it was unable to be understood by Ichigo. Ichigo said, who are you? This is where, well, mostly Ichigo did not see anyone. And this is where, well, mostly Ichigo says, hey, where, huh? This is where, well, mostly Ichigo did not know anything. But this is where a blue light, it looks like a blue sword stabbed into his body. This is where, well, Ichigo thought he died in an instant. But this is where he woke up in an instant, right now realizing that he's in his room. What happened? What happened? This is where he noticed the sword being right next to him. This is where, well, the sword energy seems to be healing his wounds. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo is confused, but he doesn't understand. He feels like he has a greater connection to the sword, even though the first time he met the sword, he didn't have a good connection with it, but now he feels a greater connection with it. He doesn't understand even one bit in what this is. This is where, well, mostly we go into, well, a time skip about mostly, but this is where, well, mostly, what's it called? Well, Ichigo was kind of just like, yeah, wait, shit, no, I did a time skip, fuck. So we go into a time skip about mostly Ichigo being 15 years old now. So 4 years later, Ichigo became much more better with the sword because he did ask his father to be put in a kendo club or mostly a place to be taught sword training. by a swordsman. And of course, well, Ichigo is not an idiot in this one how to use a sword properly, or just being an idiot swinging it around most of the time. He's actually going to have a different stance and actually how to use the sword properly. But not just that, he also got different memories and how to use the Yamato blade much easier. And yes, he found out the name of the sword. It was called Yamato. Even though he doesn't understand it, why it's called that. Or he doesn't understand why the sword even have a name in the first place. But all he understands is the sword has a name, and it would like to be called that most of the time. So of course, mostly Ichigo decides to keep it called Yamato. This is where, well, when he says the name, the sword would literally appear right next to him. Also, the sword changed from a normal sword into a, well, mostly a double bringer. Yes, he has his own double bringer, and that's mostly in his left hand. This is where, well, so yeah, he has a double bringer. Now, mostly he has to keep his arm in bandages most of the time, just so people won't freak out about his crazy arm. But sometimes he can actually reform. Well, mostly he also found out how to actually kind of not have a crazy demonic arm half the time, and that is just having the Yamato at home. He found out if he just says the name of it in battle or wherever he's at, the sword just literally summons right inside in front of his hand. But that's why he keeps the sword usually out at home. But it does have a range to be mostly, it has to be within a 20-mile kilometer. So of course, mostly luckily the school is kind of close to him, or not that close, but you get the point. It's kind of mostly the length of it. Okay, so the sword basically, he has to be in Kurakawa town to be able to summon it by just saying its name. If he was far away from it, the sword would not react and could not. It has to kind of try to extend its powers in trying to find where Ichigo would be at. It would take a while to try to find it. It can't just pinpoint and like summon real fast. So it does take like 5 minutes if he's pretty far. But yeah. But this is where, well, mostly Ichigo knows about this, and he has tried this limit multiple times. But luckily, every time he has just stand somewhere pretty far away that wasn't in Carstown right now, he summoned out the blade, and luckily he managed to summon out in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It took a while. It's probably because of his not much demonic energy. He can't just summon it out just whenever he wants to, wherever the war or whatever. But of course, he managed to actually kill Hollows left and right. Hollows has actually been trying to pick a fight with Ichigo for a while, even normal teenagers. But Ichigo, on the other hand, has become built different. This man can literally take a punch by a delinquent and it won't even hurt him. Literally, Issei's genetics has transformed into something different. You would think in his original, what's it called, just genetics would be overpowered. Like Shinigami, Hollow, Quintin, you get the point, Fullbringer. No, he now has the power of literally a demonic demon. So yes, Issei does have kind of highlights of white hair, and one of his eyes turned completely blue. So yeah. But this is where, well, mostly his hair isn't like completely white, it's just highlights. But yeah, and one eye is completely blue, and that is his what's called right eye. His right eye literally became completely like bluish, like a bluish color, similar to that of Virgil's eyes, but not the point. This is where, well, he also did become much more kind of, well, not too pale white, but just kind of a bit palish than normal. This is where, well, he also got physically buff, like mostly when he hit 15, he kind of became physically buff. He did work out, but not the point. He felt much more stronger and other things, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo is someone to not be fucked with most of the time, because delinquents, when they get punched by Ichigo, they are getting sent to hell, because literally they get knocked out one time. But yeah, Ichigo's just punches hit like a motherfucker half the time. His physical strength is not to be laughed at because he's supernatural. Well, not supernatural. Superhuman. Yeah. Somewhat. Mostly his superhuman strength is just completely off the charts half the time. He's now a demonic kind of being, and since he's not entirely a Shinigami, yeah, not the point. Even though in his human form, he can literally punch a Hollow so hard in the mask, cracking that bitch. You know how mostly Chad can punch a Hollow so hard and breaking the mask? No, Ichigo can literally be in his human form and just punch the shit out of the, what's it called, Hollow in the face, shattering it. Yeah, killing him. Yeah, literally he can do that. He also figured out some things some things of his like demonic heritage, thanks to the blade kind of transforming most of Ichigo's blade into someone, or not blade, into his body, someone into a demon. He also found out that he has magic, and that is demonic magic. His demonic magic allows him to do a couple of crazy things, just like doing Mirage Blade, similar to that of Virgil. And yes, also I should mention one thing. Yes, Ichigo is going to be able to have to go defeat devils or demons that comes out of hell. But yeah, because some of them does want to pick a fight with Ichigo. A couple of them, and luckily he managed to get a couple of double bringers. Not just Yamato, but he still likes the Yamato a lot. Because of it actually being a normal blade and actually able to use it. But not the point. But this is where, well, Ichigo kind of gets to school. Well, at the age of 15. He's the age of 15, blah, blah, blah. But we go into the main storyline of, well, the Bleach series. We go into Ichigo kind of punching the shit out of 3 delinquents and saying, hey, you bastards, tell me, what is that? This is where, well, one person got punched in the face, and this is where another person says, that is a knockdown face. Correct! This is where Ichigo clocked him right in the fucking chin, knocking that man out. This is where, well, this is where Ichigo says, now answer me this. Why is it down on the floor, knocked over? This is where one of them says, we might have pushed it. You are correct. This is where Ichigo fucking kicks him in the side of the head, knocking him out. You fucking trash. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo has also kind of become a little bit brutal and violent, but not too brutal and violent to the point that he might act like Virgil a bit, but not the point. He does somewhat act impulsive sometimes, similar to that of Nero, but yeah. But this is where, well, mostly Ichigo then looks at the soul and says, are you okay? This is where, well, she nodded. This is where Ichigo says, don't worry, I'll bring water and a couple flowers tomorrow. This is where, well, the spirit nodded and thanked Ichigo for mostly doing that. Ichigo nodded and walks away. This is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip of mostly a hollow appearing in what's it called, Day Broadlight. Oh yeah, Day Broadlight. Yeah, and basically in the streets, causing some destruction, people going crazy. This is where, well, mostly a Soul Reaper was trying to track down this like hollow, and this is where, well, mostly the hollow appears, well, disappears and reappears, but yeah, some places, and of course the Soul Reaper's taking years to try to kill it. But we go into mostly Ichigo's room. Ichigo was asleep. Well, they fell asleep because mostly his father was being annoying, and luckily when he has gotten older, his senses has increased to a lot, his 5 senses. So of course, every time his father tried to sneak surprise him, Ichigo actually knew where his attack was gonna be, and fucking smacked the shit out of his father in the face, knocking him out. He actually found out how to knock out his father in different pressure points, but yeah. Luckily his sensei, the one who trained him in swordsmanship, actually taught him how to actually also hit pressure points. Not just with the kendo sword, but literally your straight hands or feet or whatever. Yeah, that man was so great for Ichigo. Now, the person was named, what's it called? The person was named, who do you think? Just think of some random swordsman. It would be Shanks. Shanks, I know he's not a swordsman, but not Shanks. Rayleigh. His name was Rayleigh. Dark King Rayleigh. Do you think he knows Akirasakin? Maybe. Not the point. But yeah, Ichigo always kind of knew where his father was about to hit him, so of course managed to clock out his father sometimes. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo kind of just like sword drops and just goes to his room and falls asleep. But at that night, well, at the time when his room, the window opened, and this is where he actually could sense it, and this is where, well, he opened his eyes just to see a Shinigami in his room. Now, he never met a Shinigami, nowhere in the, what's it called, city. He might have met a guy with a crazy afro and a mostly crazy clothing, which mostly, the guy seems to straight up be annoying too much. So, of course, mostly Ichigo has always kicked that guy out of the way. Like, literally every time a hollow appears, that guy was literally completely useless. Which mostly Ichigo kicked him out of the way. Half the damn time, knocked that man out. He didn't care. That guy was just straight up pissing him off. You would think that a Shinigami would be okay and not getting punched in the face by a normal human. Ichigo is not normal. he is literally different. He is built different to the fucking point that he's knocking out a fucking Shinigami. And I don't think that Shinigami is high ranking at all, so yeah. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo sees this, like, girl kind of appear in his room and says, am I about to get fucking R'd? Actually, no, am I about to get fucking robbed? A better question. This is where, well, mostly she's, like, looking around and she says, I can sense a hollow around here. But this is where, well, she gets kicked in the face by Ichigo and says, damn, you're not a very good fucking burglar. If you're going to rob me, don't talk to yourself like an idiot. Also, did you say hollow? Ichigo has never actually understand what these beings are called. Well, he has heard the sword kind of say they're hollows, and yes, the sword can somewhat talk, but not the point. This is where, well, Ichigo just called them hollows. Somewhat, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly the burglar, also known as the Shinigami, kind of just blinks and confused and says, wait, you can see me? Ichigo says, oh, no shit. What are you, the fucking ghost? Do you think I cannot see you or what? Because you're really bad at kind of just trying to rob people. This is where, well, mostly Rukia must just shake the thought off and think, wait, how can you see me? No normal human can see me. You might have some random defect from your body. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo has a tick-off mark. And so Ichigo says, say that again. This is where, well, mostly his tone and voice kind of makes Rukia shiver a bit. This is where, well, Ichigo says, now tell me what you're doing here before I cut you the fuck down. Ichigo has his sword right now next to him. This is where, well, it was literally right next to him. He didn't even say Yamato or anything. This is where, well, Rukia can actually see the sword and see that it feels kind of demonic. This is where Rukia is confused. How can a human have some kind of demonic weapon? But all she can understand is clearly this human seems to be quite pissed at her. This is where, well, Rukia says, my apologies. I will explain and why I'm here. Pretty much, she shows that stupid fucking drawings and kind of tells Ichigo that she's there to kind of kill a hollow. Ichigo says, that would have been more interesting if your drawings didn't really fucking suck. This is where she tries to, like, throw the fucking notebook paper at him. But of course, Ichigo catches it because his reflexes are fast as shit. This is where Ichigo says, what you need to show is how you draw. This is where Ichigo really teaches Rukia how to draw in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's how long it took to, what's it called, a hollow to appear, but yeah, and kind of caused trouble. This is where Ichigo kind of showed her how to draw, and this is where Rukia just like, huh? But, this is where, well, they hear screaming, they look, mostly Ichigo say, what was that? This is where Rukia says, that was a hollow. Ichigo says, god damn it, I gotta go save my sisters. This is where Rukia says, no, you can't. This is where she then uses a bottle, or what, mostly, let me say it again. Not bottle, a, Haro? No, not Haro, Aikido Bakuro? Yeah, she uses Bakuro number whatever the hell it's called. And right now it kind of seal Ichigo's arm. So this is where Ichigo, it didn't even take him 2 seconds to break out free. Ichigo says, hell no, what the fuck? Fuck this shit. He runs downstairs and this is where Rukia says, huh? How did he, what, This is where, well, she can actually sense Ichigo's energy now pulsating through his body, and it feels quite demonic. This is where, well, she's confused. This is where Ichigo sees the hollow right now, kind of trying to, like, eat Uzui. And Karin was right now on the ground, knocked out. This is where Ichigo says, hey, you bastard! What the hell are you doing to my sister? The hollow kind of screeches and says, you get the point. This is where, well, I'm not going to do the screech of the hollow. This is where, well, right now Rukia says, don't do anything crazy. You will only be a sacrifice to it. It doesn't, this is where she explains how mostly hollows just eat anything. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo summons out his blade. And right now the hollow feels fear against that blade. Like he had his incense just thrown out the window. Well, mostly not incense thrown out the window. It was thrown back at him with a fucking 2 times harder rate than ever. So, of course, mostly the hollow right now dropped Uzui. And this is where Ichigo says, don't you dare touch my sister! This is where, well, Ichigo swings his blade straight towards what's called the hollow. But the hollow managed to disappear. And this is where, well, thanks to his ability. And this is where Ichigo says, where the hell did it go? This is where, well, right now Rukia says, behind you! This is where, well, right now Ichigo was blind with anger. So, of course, mostly he couldn't really sense it fast enough. And this is where, well, the hollow managed to stab through his chest and go, damn it! This is where Ichigo's regeneration is kind of regenerating his body real fast. thanks to the fact that the sword does allow him to regenerate his demonic heritage. But not the point. This is where Rukia sees this battle, and this is where she tries to fight against mostly the Hollow also. And this is where, well, she right now uses mostly Keto to try to send an attack straight towards the Hollow to distract it. This is where the Hollow screeches and says, you get the point. This is where, well, the Hollow tries to attack mostly Rukia, but this is where Ichigo managed to cut off the arm. Rukia pulls out her own sword and right now uses ice to kind of block an attack from mostly the Hollow. Both of them are right now kind of working together, even though they don't even know what exactly each other is. But this is where, well, Rukia can only think that mostly Ichigo is probably from hell. That's the only explainment that he's probably from there. This is where, well, Ichigo right now pulls out his blade. And, well, mostly not pull out his blade. He did unsheath it and pulls it out back again. And this is where, well, he sends a powerful blue energy slash straight towards the Hollow. Even Rukia did a powerful ice slash. And this is where the Hollow was hit. This is where, well, the Hollow screeches in pain. And this is where, well, the Hollow then hits Rukia pretty hard out of the way. So luckily the slash missed his like whole bit, but it was like near his chest. And it did kind of rip out a good chunk of it. And this is where, well, the Hollow tries to attack, well, mostly Rukia, until Ichigo appears right now, putting the sword into the sheath, and then right now appearing it to move really fast and cutting the arm of what's it called, the Hollow. The Hollow right now screeches and roars again. This is where Ichigo feels kind of tired, because, yes, mostly this morning he was dealing with something else. He dealt with another Hollow, and he might have did some flashy techniques in the morning, but yeah. But not the point. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo says, damn it, I'm out of energy a bit. I can't move. This is where Ichigo says, damn it, I should have definitely not did any flashy techniques in the morning. This is where, well, mostly Rukia had to think fast, and this is where, well, she decides to launch the sword into Ichigo to make him a substitute Soul Reaper, even though she was already hurt. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo was turned to a substitute Soul Reaper confusedly, but this is where, well, Ichigo felt energy. Now, this is where, well, he didn't have the Yamato in his hand. Well, he did, but it wasn't actually, well, he had two blades. One huge-ass blade, and the other one's a Yamato blade. His right hand, he had the Yamato blade. His left hand, he had this huge-ass blade. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo says, what the hell? This is where, well, mostly he dodges out of the way of what's it called, the attack from the, what's it called, the, well, let me say that again. The Hollow, and this is where, well, he then uses the sword, the big-ass sword, to cut mostly the mask of the Hollow. And this is where, well, he then pulls out the Yamato to cut off fully the mask of the Hollow. Just cut it in half, by even his head. This is where the Hollow screeches and dies. This is where, well, mostly Ichigo says, annoying. But what the hell is this? And why am I wearing this black-ass clothing? This is where he looks at mostly Rukia. And Rukia is dead as tired. And this is where Ichigo says, what did you do to me? This is where, well, she says, I turned you into a substitute Soul Reaper. I meant to give you half of my energy, but I gave you most of it. Ichigo says, the fuck? What the? How the hell do I get back into my body then? This is where, well, she just tells him how to, and this is where Ichigo goes back in there. Of course, this is where, well, Ichigo says, so annoying. Luckily, mostly he puts his sword, that big ass sword, behind him because there was a sheath. And this is where, well, he puts the Yamato back into the sheath also. And he can actually still use the Yamato even though in his Soul Reaper form. He's confused, but he doesn't care. This is where, well, mostly we go into a time skip. But for right now, I'm going to end it off here for part 1 of this What If. Because I can't really remember anything about part 1 before the Soul, well, mostly Soul Invasion. Other than that, bye, see you, and yeah. Or not Soul Invasion. Okay. Other than that, bye, yeah, see ya.